one of the biggest challenges or problems or, really tragedies is that so many people don't understand they have options and that the body can heal, and that when they're diagnosed, they're just rushed into treatment, and they really don't have time to think or read or research or do anything.
Yeah, well,
and that's what I know your mission and mine are the same, because we're trying to reach people before they're diagnosed, so that they can at least have some semblance of reference or foundation that there are other options besides what your doctor is allowed to prescribe.
Yeah.
So can we talk about that, the difference between nutrition and natural healing in that world and the conventional medical model?
Yeah, they're really two great basic models of cancer, as I've discovered, Chris. One, of course, is the medical model, as you mentioned. Doctors get trained. Most people don't realize it, but doctors are not educated. They're trained. Okay, I know lots of MDs and other types of doctors. Many of the MDs I know have broken out of that mold and become wonderful holistic physicians. They treat people instead of diseases. But what they're taught in medical school is basically that all chronic degenerative conditions, cancer is just one of them, that they need to be attacked with all of this armament that they're taught about. Essentially cancer to the doctors represents an enemy that's invaded your body and has to be attacked. Well, they have obviously several sources of armament. One is cutting this thing out of your body, as they did to you, disposing of it. The others have to do with burning it with radiation, which of course causes other cancers and causes all kinds of damage to healthy cells and so on. And then poisoning your body with chemotherapy. Well, it's not therapy, believe me, folks. It's poison. That's where chemotherapy originated after World War I, literally, as mustard gas and so on. They discovered that it also killed cancer cells. Well, imagine.
Mustargen is still a chemo drug, by the way. It's called Mustargen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and mustard gas is illegal to use in warfare now.
Unreal. Yeah,
but they can't even use it in warfare, but they can use it as a chemo drug.
Yeah, not in medical warfare. Well, so they're creating a war on this enemy that's invaded your body, and they don't try to determine what caused this. Well, when you treat symptoms like they do, you don't deal with the cause of the problem, and it recurs in almost every case. And almost all these 5,000 plus people I've talked to before they come to me, not 100% anymore, thank God, but many of them have been through this medical nonsense about cancer, and they've woken up finally and realized that this isn't working, the cancer comes back and so on, and they start something like we describe in our book, a regimen of some kind of changing their lifestyle and so on. The model of cancer that I've discovered, and I think you have too, as far as I know, is simply that it is a temporary imbalance in our body, basically. Cancer, I like the expression, cancer is us, okay? Cancer occurs in your body today. You've been through an experience with it where you had to be treated for it and so on, but it's still occurring in your body and my body and everybody's body every single day. Cancer cells are just part of normal cell metabolism, and they occur hundreds of thousands or millions of them in our bodies every single day. Well, what is cancer, quote unquote, as we generally think about it? Well, it's a discovery that the cancer cells being produced have exceeded the ability of our immune system to handle them. That's all it is. It's basically a fact that your immune system, which at the time you got the cancer had been challenged by something.
Yeah, overloaded.
Yeah.
Or suppressed.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it couldn't handle the number of cancer cells, and they accumulate somewhere. There are lots of theories about why they accumulate in a particular organ. They're interesting theories, but none of them have been proven completely. But some organ demonstrates a lump, a bump of some kind, a cancer tumor. 90% of the time it presents itself as some kind of a tumor. The other 10% are cancers that don't involve a tumor, melanoma, lymphoma, leukemia, things that are the same thing, an excess of cancer cells. You know, they're circulating in your body and they settle on the skin or somewhere and they may not form a tumor. But it's the same problem. It's an overwhelming number of cells beyond what your immune system can handle. Well, that doesn't mean that there are more cancer cells being produced. It may mean that the immune system itself was what was suppressed. As you mentioned, the balance between your immune system and the cancer cells are the way we stay healthy. And you cannot get cancer as a diagnosis, as you did, with a strong immune system that's working correctly. It's impossible.
And that, of course, the crazy thing is that we're destroying the patient's immune system when we treat them, right?
Does it make any sense to you? I mean, to me, all people need is common sense. If they can get away from the blind trust in doctors that we all sort of learn from toddlerhood, that somehow the doctor has the answer, you know, fix me, doctor, and so on. If they can get away from that and just do enough research to realize that this is a problem that can be reversed by anyone at almost any point in the development of cancer, if they just get information. I'm convinced that cancer deaths are all attributable to lack of information.